Douglas W. Hubbard, The Failure of Risk Management, Why It's Broken and How to Fix It. Embark on a journey to master the art of risk management with Douglas W. Hubbard's The Failure of Risk Management, Why It's Broken and How to Fix It. This book offers insight into the flawed methods commonly used in assessing and managing risks, demonstrating the need to adopt more scientifically accurate models. The book also educates readers on significant developments in the history of risk management, from wartime applications to its present-day use in organizations and governments. Ultimately, the book serves as a valuable resource for understanding, evaluating, and improving risk management practices.
Unpacking risk management. Risk management is the process of utilizing limited resources to minimize the probability and magnitude of undesirable events. Risk management refers to the process of effectively using limited resources to minimize the probability and magnitude of undesirable events. Probability refers to the odds that something undesirable will happen, while magnitude can be measured in various dimensions such as loss of money or lives. A risk manager tries to minimize risk by reducing the probability of pursuing an objective. Managing risk is characterized by planning, organizing, coordinating, and directing resources towards defined objectives using the available resources to achieve a required objective. The process also involves reducing the probability of encountering an undesirable event. Risk management has become part of the jargon used among organizations, governments, and people globally. The approach explains how an organization could limit disaster occurrences, product recalls, and political instability. To ensure risk management is successful, a manager ought to identify potential risks and develop an effective approach to counteract them. Effective risk management helps an organization to achieve efficiency and effectiveness by utilizing resources to complete essential tasks. The evolution of risk management. From war quants to today's corporations, risk management has come a long way. The digitization of the field and the increased sophistication brought on by the risk associated with nuclear power and oil exploration in the 1940s have made risk management an important field in the minds of most large organizations today. Risk analysis during World War II and the Cold War by engineers and economists was a major breakthrough for the field. Today, risk is analyzed and managed in various organizations, from governmental institutions to corporations. Studies have shown that the function of risk management is increasing on an organizational level, with many companies hiring or intending to hire a chief risk officer. With the constant changes and increased complexity of today's world, the significance of risk management continues to grow. Flaws in common risk management methods. Risk management is crucial, but the most widely used methods have various shortcomings. Qualitative descriptions, like very likely, lead to different interpretations among collaborators. The scoring method fails to consider the relationship between risks, leading to common mode risk. Those methods rely only on expert opinions which may not always be reliable. These limitations undermine the effectiveness of risk management, highlighting the need for reform. The pitfalls of expert opinion. The reliance on expert opinion for assessing risks may not be as helpful as one might think. According to research, people tend to overestimate their abilities and underestimate risks, even experts. Biases from past experiences and flawed memory also affect one's ability to evaluate probability accurately. Studies by psychologists suggest that our minds are influenced by biases such as the peak end rule, which affects our memories of extreme and recent experiences. Therefore, people tend to assume inaccuracies in weather forecasts if one past picnic was ruined by rain, despite the low probability of rain in the forecast. The book suggests caution when using expert opinion in risk management, as even esteemed experts are affected by these tendencies. Improving expert opinion. The book highlights calibration training as a means to improve expert opinion. This type of training emphasizes repetition and feedback. There are many ways to calibrate, but one method involves range testing where the testee provides lower and higher end estimate values. Another testing method is post-mortem analysis, which has proven effective in generating more creative ideas about potential risks. Calibrated experts are the best source of data for probabilistic risk assessment methods. The Monte Carlo simulation. Gain insights into the Monte Carlo simulation, a powerful tool for risk assessment used worldwide to evaluate complex scenarios like nuclear power safety and oil exploration. Through analysis of variables associated with a given risk, the Monte Carlo simulation processes data to produce risk analysis models that ascertain the real probability of particular outcomes. To perform a simulation, you first need to have your variables in place, then set realistic ranges for them. With these ranges in place, you can randomly create thousands of scenarios that will tell you how much money you stand to make or lose in each situation. Ultimately, as long as your variables were certain, the mean of all the returned outcomes will be your real return. Although this simulation can be complex and may involve more than 50 complexly interrelated variables, the Monte Carlo simulation remains a game-changer in risk assessment. Insights into risk analysis. This book explores a better alternative to the criticisms against quantitative probability methods such as Monte Carlo simulation. Despite skeptics holding on to the claim that lack of data makes simulations unreliable, there is a more effective option used by institutions like insurance companies and the nuclear power industry. The technique of deconstructing the risk model into its component parts and computing the risk of failure for each individual part can be applied to most situations. By carefully searching for data, one can construct a risk model which calculates the probability of multiple parts failing simultaneously and estimate the magnitude of the disaster. Overall, this book delves into insights on how to make accurate risk assessments by analyzing individual parts that make up the larger picture. Mitigating risk in organizations. Building and utilizing risk management tools can help mitigate risk in organizations, but obstacles such as organizational silos can impede progress. Managers need a comprehensive approach to risk analysis for major decisions that affect multiple departments. To overcome these obstacles, a department devoted to standardizing risk-related decisions and unifying decision-makers and experts is crucial. This department can optimize risk models by adding empirical data and building a scenario library. Such a library is a collection of standard corporate risk scenarios with variables and correlations and can be used as a standard across the organization.
In conclusion, The Failure of Risk Management highlights the limitations of traditional risk management approaches that rely on subjective interpretations and expert opinions. The book advocates for a quantitative approach to risk management using scientifically accurate methods, such as the Monte Carlo simulation. These methods help minimize biases, incorporate calibration training, and utilize empirical data for more precise risk assessment. By embracing these techniques and breaking down organizational barriers, you can efficiently mitigate risks, make informed decisions, and ultimately, achieve your objectives both in the professional and personal realms.